All right, we are live back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. I got Richie tonight. Rich, how we doing, man?
Duke, doing great, man. Feeling better. You know, that flu that came around our house kicked my tail. But hey, I'm back, feeling normal as ever. How about you?
Doing good, man. I'm feeling a lot better. Can't complain. You know, everybody that I know has the flu or has gotten the flu this year, so we'll see. Hopefully, there's no repeat of 2020. That's all I'm
Let's
saying.
let's cross our fingers. Let's just cross our fingers.
So, outside of that, I guess we can hop on into what's been going on since the last time we spoke. And we're also live on TikTok, and everybody out there watching on Twitter, come on over and join the YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. So with that being said, we'll hop right on into it, Rich. Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin back in the news.
How about that? How about that?
Yeah, I seen Dan Dockage from Outkick had a lot to say about that. I find that interesting that that it's making its way. Every now and then the truth does come out. I find that very, very interesting on how Incognito was portrayed. It sounds like Adam Schefter didn't give him a fair shake on it. I just anymore with any news outlet that reports anything, I'm not shocked in 5 or 6 years that it comes back out that what was not true or what was true was a complete and total lie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Richie Incognito to finally shed some light onto everything. Let the truth finally have its day. I thought it was all a bunch of BS soft pansy shit with Martin being, oh, I was bullied. I mean, they're grown ass men. They're football players. That's what guys do. Guys ball bust each other and have a good time. Just have a good time because that's just what guys do. And to finally see it come out, I couldn't be more happy for Richie. I hope he wins as much. I hope he takes Schefter to court for defamation of character. Because it essentially ruined his NFL career, Duke. I mean, ruined his reputation as some bully, some intolerant, teammate that played with Martin down in Miami. So I would love to see Schefter come out with an apology or some sort of statement, but he won't because he's Adam Schefter. He's too high above that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's too big of an egomaniac
Yeah.
to even admit to any guilt or anything like that.
The same with Florio from Pro Football Talk too.
Oh yeah, I think the Incognito stuff is just in a vacuum of how sometimes you hear a report and a narrative gets pushed and people think it's factual.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I think, and we're not saying that Richie Incognito is a choir boy.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, you gotta have some type of standard in the media at some point.
Denzel. I saw a clip of Denzel Washington. That's why he's the man. Any media outlet, they're always trying to get out there first. Doesn't matter, just get it out there. Just get it out there, get out. Be the first. But Denzel, he held the media accountable with this clip. He said, you have a duty and a responsibility to tell the truth. And unfortunately, that's what the media does these days. They just run with the story and they just try and see if they got to be first. They got to be the ones with the clicks. They got to be the ones with the headlines.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. And there's a lot that goes into I don't even think they fact check hardly anything anymore when it comes to it. I think that they hear it from somebody inside the locker room. They just run with it as if it was fact. So I think that, where we're at, I think that, it's good that it's finally coming out on the incognito side of things. I think it's good for Richie, to be honest. I just can't fathom having to live with something that is blatantly
correct
a lie.
Yep. I mean, that's what the media does nowadays. They just destroy people's lives, reputation.
No.
It's that's why I quit listening to some of the stuff that comes out, because I want to hear both. There's two sides. There's his side, Martin's side, and there's the truth. Just with anything.
Right. And I don't, this is going to sound like a poor judgment, but I don't think the Miami Dolphins, ever since Shula left, they've been ran great.
No, they haven't.
It's kind of been, they've tried to have everybody in their brother try to run that place, and it just has not caught on. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, I think, is the last coach to win a playoff game there.
Yeah, I think you stand correct. I mean, they got Dan Marino in there as senior president of something down there in Miami, and nothing's caught fire, nothing's caught wind. Like the glory days of Miami Dolphins football.
I mean, back in the 70s, I feel you on that.
They were a force back in the 70s with Mercury Morris, Jim Keek, Paul Warfield, Greasy, Zonk, out of Southern Ohio. Like they had so many good legends coming out, play for Miami.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Larry Zonka, do you know who the third was in that backfield when he was at Syracuse with Jim Brown?
Ernie Davis. No, that wasn't it. No.
Super Bowl winning coach.
I'm drawing a blank here, Duke.
Tom Coughlin.
Coughlin.
You would have never.
No.
You would have never thought Tom Coughlin would have been playing football at Syracuse. But speaking of coaches, Eric Bieniemy has landed himself on the Chicago Bears coaching staff as the running backs coach. I think that is an upgrade for them. I think it was pretty much. Thank you, Producer Ed, for joining the show. Producer Ed's back there whipping up a salami sandwich. But I think that Eric Bellamy was not going to be long for the college football game, in my opinion, just for the simple fact of it was one of those things that I think the way that it's trending in college football is really, really tough. And, he doesn't do media. He doesn't do social media. I think it would be really, really tough for him to recruit. Not that I'm saying he couldn't do it. I just think he wants to coach. I think he wants to coach football and study football, in my opinion, with Eric.
And I agree with you completely, because more and more you're seeing, college coaches take that leap from college to pro. Look at Chip. Look at who else was there? What's his name? From Ohio, Jeff Hafley.
Yeah.
From Boston College. He's now the D coordinator over in Green Bay.
Yeah. The Penn State guy has resurfaced.
Penn State guy, welcome, buddy.
Yeah, it's tough sledding over there at Penn State. But hey, you got Jim Knowles. You're all right. You got Jim Knowles.
You got Knowles. You don't have any wideouts, but you got Knowles. You got two good tailbacks, mediocre quarterback. Hey, you know what? That's all right.
Yeah. So we're going down the list here, but some other things on the internet. Netflix looks to take over. Try to take over the Sunday rights for CBS and Fox for Sunday games.
That is very interesting. I mean, because they did get the WWF from USA. USA was the Raw was always on Monday night growing up when I was back in my heyday during the Attitude Era, and I couldn't believe they acquired the WWF I think it was January or February.
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, Netflix is making a push. I for one don't see it happening because Fox has been around for so long with the, being part of the, they've always had the NFC calling the games, and CBS has always had the AFC. I could see them maybe getting a couple game, maybe adding on to next season as far as streaming, but I couldn't see them getting the full slate for like Sundays.
So, with this TV rights deal being where it's at, I want to caution people because I talk about this House versus NCAA settlement, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but they talked about this on Siskey and McCready about the about them making the college athletes employees. So if they become employees, you know what that means?
W-2, you're going to have to pay them benefits, especially some of the kids that are at state colleges. They're going to, for Ohio, they're going to start paying into the, Oker's pension.
So those are all good things you bring up. But if I think back, because my guy Tyler Siskey pointed this out, didn't the NFL, don't they have a silent agreement with Congress about playing football games on Saturday during the college football season?
I think they do. It's like towards the end of the year. They start, they'll have like a couple Saturday games.
Yeah, so why I bring that up is because the NFL is a money-hungry machine. Could you imagine how many more eyeballs they get?
People are going to watch the NFL no matter what.
So could you imagine the college football universities trying to go up against Steelers Ravens on Saturday night at 8:30?
Good luck.
I'm just saying, because you don't think for a minute the NFL isn't going to muscle in on Saturdays, because instead of having 10 1 o'clock games on Sunday, you could have 5 1 o'clock games on Saturday, 2 4 o'clock games on Saturday, and you can have Saturday night football, Sunday night football, and the NFL dominates the TV ratings.
It'll be interesting. Let's see what develops in the next couple months.
Sid says it Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And
I say you do away with the Friday NFL games. I think Philly and Green Bay, they kicked off Friday night,
but that was like a one-off because it was in Brazil.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring that up is because, could you imagine trying to go up against Browns Steelers for a playoff spot versus Ohio State Michigan? What are you going to do then?
Well,
that presents a big problem, doesn't it?
Personally, for me, I'd watch Ohio State Michigan.
But you're a college football fan, though.
No, I'm a football fan in general, dude.
And Sid says, we call that oversaturation. Yeah, but if the eyes are there, nobody thought the Black Friday games would do good, and everybody thought Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, even though the NFL product isn't what I think it should be. But
right.
I'm just saying that you could run into these problems just as easy as
See,
anybody else.
and the other thing too is YouTube has the Sunday ticket. So how are they going to go up against YouTube? YouTube with streaming all those out of market games.
I would say that it would be the agreement that they had with the bars with the direct TV. Eventually, they would just transition them over like they did. I find it fascinating that, the Big Ten and the SEC have all the money. That is true, but not when it comes to the NFL.
No, I mean the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar machine that they'll find a way, Duke. They always do.
Oh yeah, that's why. I mean, Penn State guy says, I agree that you would think both parties would do that, but when it comes to the NFL and them getting their cut or their dollar, they're not.
They won't back down.
They're not going to back down on that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think you're going to get. I don't think you're going to get them to move either way. And yes, Sid, the NFL is very greedy.
Very.
I don't think they're going to buckle or they're going to move on that. That's just my opinion on it. But Netflix acquiring the Sunday games, I think that is interesting. Could it be a colossal failure? Yes, because there's a lot of people that don't have Netflix or that have canceled Netflix, but the NFL brings the money.
It does. I mean, they could have like some type of package for just the NFL games.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think they'll do that. I think that'll help them a lot, but I just couldn't imagine not having NFL on CBS. But who would have thought the SEC would have
jump ship to ESPN?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Nope. Producer Ed has put down the sandwich. I wouldn't take. Well. I guess we know where producer Ed is standing right now. He's standing in the paint with Chris Ash. Producer Ed is the one and only. He is on the Chris Ash fan club. He is the president, CEO, and founder of the Chris Ash fan club.
Be sure to sign up for your exclusive Chris Ash t-shirt.
Yes. So yeah, that's where we're Chris Ash has my phone number. I'm a big fan.
I believe that 100%.
I do believe that, but producer Ed back there, he's just back there making up sandwiches. He's got one of those Scooby sandwiches. Like from Scooby-Doo, that's what he's...
Oh, yeah, those big stackers.
Yeah, that's what producer Ed's back there doing. So, that's what it is. But to get back on topic, we can't let producer Ed hijack the show. We just can't take away the NFL on regular TV, I wouldn't think.
I agree with you. Because that's a big staple in the fall with CBS and Fox with those... during those 1 o'clock games, those 4 o'clock games, then you got the Sunday night game with NBC. Netflix has had so many problems with streaming too, like that fight with Tyson and
Tyson.
Yeah, I mean it was a disaster. So hey, good luck, Netflix.
Oh, producer Ed back there making tons and tons of promises. But we'll have to see producer Ed if that will if that bears any fruit. But we're almost at the 20-minute mark. We got Sid, Penn State guy, and we got all the people watching on TikTok and the people on Twitter. Come on over to the YouTube, we're open to taking questions. Hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. We're on the road to 1,000. That's where we're trying to get to. So that's where we're at. So, and also, since producer Ed doesn't have the commercial up, we're just stalling here because producer Ed's back there making up sandwiches and not getting it going. But here we go.
If you have been watching the show for a while, you know, if you're like me, that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP pouches, ALP pouches, the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time with ALP pouches. A better time isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. We love nicotine pouches and we're here to share that love. Better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about ALP pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength. And amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom, we've made the product they never could. So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's ALPPOUCH.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard.
All right, and we're back. That is one thing that we're doing. We're trying to get it rolling, and that's what we got. So, and Richie, you got to unmute yourself. You are in mute land.
Oop.
You got to get out of mute land, Richie.
I'm there.
So, next order of business is Danny Dimes projected to possibly land in Pittsburgh.
Dude, how do you feel?
How do I feel? Absolutely not. I say no. No, yeah, Daniel Jones.
I say no too. And I'm not even a Steelers fan, but who's he going to throw to? I mean, you know they're going to ship Pickens out of there.
Oh, Pickens is going to get dealt draft day, I think.
I think he might get dealt. I think he might get dealt during the free agency period.
You think so?
I think so. They're going to have to unload on him. They're going to have to unload him and try and acquire like a 4th round, maybe 5th round for him.
Yeah, I think so. I think Pickens getting a 5th round for him is probably realistic. If you can get something better, I say yeah, but it depends on what you do at quarterback. Yeah, producer Ed, that's rough, buddy. That is rough. I don't know what Justin Fields' outlook is in Pittsburgh either.
I think I saw something today on Twitter that the Jets might be taking a look at him. It's all rumors right now, but they were saying Fields might go to Pittsburgh or New York. I did see Matt Stafford. Was it Stafford going to Pittsburgh or the Giants? It was one of the two.
Because I seen the rumor mills buzzing about Aaron Rodgers possibly to the Rams, but
that was the other one too that I saw. Rodgers is going to the Rams.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my noggin around trying to get Rodgers to the Rams. If I thought Aaron Rodgers would go anywhere, I would have thought he would have went to
Minnesota or Vegas.
I don't know. I don't know if Tom Brady would take the chance on him in Vegas. I was thinking possibly they might ship him to San Francisco. Purdy coming off of that deal, because I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're gonna re-sign Brock Purdy.
I don't think they are either. I think Purdy's going to walk. He'll probably go somewhere.
Yeah, 100% right here, Penn State guy. Daniel Jones, not it. I just
I'm trying to think who needs a quarterback.
pretty much everybody.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
What if Purdy signs with Miami?
I don't know if Miami. Hey, Dave's here. Sam Darnold is on the market. I would take Sam Darnold over Daniel Jones all day.
Oh, I would too.
That's just me. I don't know what Darnold is gonna ask for. That's the problem.
I think Najee Harris goes to Chicago.
Do you think so?
I think so because they're gonna probably roll with Jalen Warren and draft somebody in the draft. Get Trey at like the first or second round.
I'd like to get Quinshon Judkins in Pittsburgh.
That'd be.
But the thing with Quinshon is you got to remember, dog, can't renegotiate after week 8.
Nope, can't.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? The Steelers draft Jackson Dart and Quinshon Judkins. Talk about a complete. That would be interesting to me. That would be fascinating to watch.
And, trade for Garrett Wilson.
I don't know. Are the Jets going to ship Garrett Wilson?
I heard he wants out, but I think he might want to go to Houston with CJ, because I know they're going to try and ship Stephon Diggs out of there.
Oh, imagine that! I think me and Carter talked about that at the beginning of the year. Dave's here says, is the number one dude actually going to be Hunter? I'm not sure I'd draft him at either position that high. Yeah, that's going to be tough. I don't know. The Travis Hunter thing is very fascinating to me because it's the great unknown. Because if you hit it, it's going to be the biggest steal in the draft ever. Is he going to play both ways? I don't know. Half the talking heads say yes. Half the talking heads say no. The other half really just don't know. That's the problem.
I really have a gut feeling that Abdul Carter is going to go to New England. Vrabel's going to want a defensive lineman there. Kind of rebuild that defense in New England.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, I mean, it's just all speculation right now. Until free agency happens, we won't get a really clear picture until middle of March, early April. It's so far away too. It's like, come on, hurry up already.
Yeah, and Penn State guy hits the nail on the head here. Yeah, and also the Kenny Pickett drafting. I could have told you he wasn't going to be any good.
I wasn't going to be. I'm with you.
He wasn't the guy. Did he show some flashes early, but he just didn't take the next step, in my opinion. He didn't have, as Coach JB says, the it factor.
A lot of these quarterbacks don't have it like they used to.
But if you go back and look through the draft through all the years and look at the hit rate in drafting a quarterback in the first round is relatively low.
It's like probably less than 5%. It has to be less than 5%.
Because you can think of more busts than knock it out of the park, and then some guys are just middle of the road. Not to say that they can't play in the NFL, but, you know.
I think it was, the 2018 draft with Lamar and Allen?
Yeah.
Mahomes was the year before in 17.
Yeah, there's only
which was the Browns pick, and the Browns traded it.
Yep.
Hey, Gigolo Joe, what do you know?
Hey, Joe's here. Yeah, it's just I just think the hit rate is so inconsistent in the NFL. Like, you look at guys that are on their second and third team, it's, you know, Kenny Pickett got shipped to Philadelphia. Zach Wilson got shipped out of New York. But, you know, the Jets, but there's a lot of teams that have had a track record of historically drafting guys that just don't work out. The Jets come to mind.
The Colts. Well, the Colts in the early 90s with Jeff George.
It was hard not to make the Jeff George thing work because he was from Indy. But, you know, like I always say, the Penn State guys here has got wrong one. Not sure what Dart will do, but I can see him being like a Bo Nix in the NFL possibly. Yes, that's why I think the Steelers are probably going to draft Jackson Dart. Because I don't think that they can play around with the quarterback thing anymore.
No. I mean, they've had, since, I'm trying to think, from as long as I've been around, they had maybe one good quarterback.
Roethlisberger.
And Roethlisberger. I mean, they had Neil O'Donnell, they had Bubby Brister, they had Cordell, they had Tommy Maddox.
Tommy Fireball Maddox.
Tommy Gun Maddox. I remember when he came out, when he got signed by from the XFL, and he was lighting up for Pittsburgh, and I forget what happened. I don't know if he got injured and they put in Roethlisberger, and you never heard from Tommy Maddox again.
Yeah, Tommy Fireball and Maddox, he got Wally pipped, and then Roethlisberger came in and went on that 15-1 tear, took him to the AFC Championship game where they lost to New England. You know, it's just one of those things. Penn State guy back with it. But who will Dart throw to with Pickens gone? You need a wide receiver. Yeah, well, with anything with the Steelers, I think that they'll just get better through the draft, if that's anything, because they have drafted guys that nobody's ever heard of, i.e. Antonio Brown.
Yeah, they usually hit on some good wideouts, and somehow they let them go.
And I guess Roman Wilson's going to be back. I don't know. He didn't play.
He didn't record a stat. He didn't record a stat at all last year.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see on that side of it. And producer Ed back with his shenanigans. But hey, you know, producer Ed, it's not that big of a deal. You know, the Browns didn't draft Roethlisberger, an Ohio guy, and you know,
they drafted Kellen Winslow that year.
Yeah, but you would think that Winslow wouldn't have not worked out in Cleveland.
If he wasn't being stupid and riding on his motorcycle and getting hurt.
Yeah, that's a...
Yeah, I mean, I remember when that happened, I think he was driving down by the Hall of Fame doing stupid shit.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, a lot of these guys that I don't get it. Penn State guy, the Steelers have a good D, just need to figure out the offense. Yes, I agree. The defense is good. Could it be better? Yes. The big thing I think they're going to have to look for a replacement for Cameron Hayward soon with the Steelers. So that's one thing that you got to look at, because I don't know how much more Cam's going to keep rolling, but you know, that's just one side of it. And then also we got a little bit of news that kind of one of the worst kept secrets in college football. Jawan Sider officially announced as Notre Dame's running back coach. What are your thoughts, Rich?
Where did he coach before?
He was at Penn State. He was Penn State's running back coach.
Well, Penn State has always had a great group of tailbacks coming out of there. You had Saquon, um, you got Katron Allen and what's his name, Singleton.
Yeah, Nicholas Singleton.
Yeah, Singleton. I mean, so that I think that's a win-win for Notre Dame with their trying to make their tailbacks better, than they were the last couple, last year. I mean, don't get me wrong, the tailbacks this year for Notre Dame were phenomenal. They'll just get better.
Yeah,
they will just get better.
I think that one of the things that Marcus is doing is he's assembling the team to take it to the next level. Penn State guy, Penn State fan. So, I mean, you can't be Penn State guy without being a Penn State fan. But he says Sider's a great recruiter. It just, that's just something that is what it is. So, I mean, I think Notre Dame is a place that, I think that you're looking for advancement. I think Notre Dame's a good spot to go because with anything, whenever, look at Ohio State's coaching staff and look at Notre Dame's coaching staff, tons of guys got interviews elsewhere. Like Joe Rudolph got interviewed at Chicago, and had to replace McLeod as the running backs coach because he ended up going to the NFL. So that's just where it's at. Joe says, oh man, yeah. Whoa, that's a dark conversation you guys are having in the chat. But yeah, I believe all those guys are in prison. Yeah, so I think he gets out soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Who, Winslow?
No, Sharper.
Sharper.
Yeah, that's a rough conversation, but but I think that I think that's something that that I think it's hard to say if you replace a great coach with a great coach. It's hard to say this is a total complete upgrade.
I mean, I think each coach brings their own unique style. Duke.
Yeah.
So you really couldn't. I mean, maybe in 2 years, maybe he was the better hire.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and for a lot of the Ohio State fans that get all over Tony Alford, I just I can't. I don't get the Tony Alford hate. I just don't. They said Tony Alford was the worst ever.
I don't know. I don't get it either. Because he went to that team up north.
Yeah, that's got to be the only crawl that would be stuck in the side of Buckeye fans, but Joe here's like horizontal move for Swat. Yeah, I guess you could call it a horizontal move. I don't know how big of a horizontal move it is. I don't think you're taking a step down going from Notre Dame to Penn State or Penn State to Notre Dame because they were in the Final Four last year.
Yeah, I'd say it's a lateral move.
I would say that Penn State upgraded on the defensive side of the ball with getting Jim Knowles. So,
most definitely, they'll get better on defense.
Yeah, that Penn State Ohio State game is going to be very interesting. I will be intrigued to watch that one this year.
At Ohio State this year.
Yeah, so hey, I'll bet you. I bet you $10 it's at noon. What do you want to bet on that?
Salami sandwich.
Oh, it's going to be at noon. It's got to be. Has to be. It's because Fox is going to position themselves because they
I think
want
CBS 3:30.
Dave's here. Yeah, Dave is anti-Ohio State, but that's Dave.
All right, he's
Can't blame him, but we'll see where everything shakes out this year. I think before we get to the last segment of the show, I think the Bryce Underwood being the Michigan quarterback is going to be the most fascinating thing to see. As a true freshman, I'm assuming because of the money that they're going to pay him, he's going to start day one. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, you have to. All that money you're paying him, it's like not paying your franchise quarterback that you just drafted and threw all that money at.
Penn State guy, this might be some insight here. Sider got money from MD. His wife hated living in State College. I've been through State College, and it's a rough place. Not bad.
In the boonies, huh?
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised the cows haven't taken over the town. But I'm not saying it's like South Park, but wink, wink. But we're at the next break point. So if you're watching on Twitter, come on over. We got plenty of people in the chat tonight, especially if you're watching on TikTok. Come on over to YouTube. Dave's here just says South Bend is a huge metro area. Yeah. Well, it's close to Chicago. That's about the best you can do. But if you're watching on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button and help us blow this thing up is what we're trying to do. All of this wouldn't be possible without you guys, the listeners. So help us get to 1,000 or 500, whichever one comes first. Once we hit some of those marks, there's going to be more additions coming to the show. So with that being said, Rich, we got an article today that Carter sent over. Here we go. Now they're going to start bagging on South Bend. South Bend is the Paris of fashion. Oh, boy. Okay, I don't know where to go from that. Oh, wow. Yeah. But this is where we're at. We're all having a good time here. The 7 sophomores to look out for Notre Dame. Do you have that list pulled up, Rich?
Yeah.
Go ahead and go through the names because I'm currently
so the 7 freshmen that played in 14 games was Kingsington. I can't pronounce his last name. Asa, Kennedy Urlacher, Anthony Knapp, Logan Thomas, Aeneas Williams, Leonard Moore, and Bryce Young, and Carson Hobbs.
Okay, so with all of those names been said, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact coming into next season?
I think Leonard Moore, man. I think that kid's starting as a freshman for Notre Dame. I think he's going to really he's really going to take that leap from freshman year to sophomore year, and possibly be the best DB in the nation.
I think
he's got how many games did it say? 16 games under his belt. That's big for a freshman.
Right. Yeah, I hear you on that. I think one of the more fascinating trends to this Notre Dame team is going to be, can they stay healthy up front? That's why I think Lambert's going to be a big piece in this. Because if Notre Dame struggles down the stretch, they didn't struggle, but they weren't at full strength at the offensive line and the defensive line. I think that one of the big things that they needed was to have more, not more solid guys, but they were relying on the 10th, 11th guy in the room down the stretch to help take them over the top. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
And if Lambert can play left tackle, that means you can slide Jagasaw and Anthony Knapp in the interior.
Interior guard, yeah.
So I think that Notre Dame is looking great up front. With Joe Rudolph. One of the things that I think everybody's gonna the cool popular take is gonna be CJ Carr. And I get that because he's going to play quarterback. I'm assuming he's going to start. I think that him and Angeli are both going to have the feeling that they both have the job locked up going into camp because of the spring transfer portal window. One guy that's I don't even know if he's going to get any pub about possibly challenging for the starting job is Kenny Minchie. Some people called for him to maybe get some snaps or something like that last year. So I think in the article they referenced CJ Carr's mysterious elbow injury, why he didn't get any snaps, but I think that the popular take is going to be CJ Carr, but I think Lambert's a bigger piece to this because if you go back from Notre Dame last year, the biggest thing is every time you turned around, you had an offensive lineman getting hurt. So I think that's something that you got to look at.
I think Angeli might have a slight lead in the race to start. He's just got to work on his pocket presence because when they were playing Penn State, man, he held on to that ball way too long, and I thought he was going to get his head ripped off in that playoff game.
And he did.
But he moved the ball. I mean, he moved the ball down the field. I mean, he was completely different compared to Roddy Leonard being able to fling it, vertically.
Yeah, that was one thing that Angeli could do was move it vertically. I find it very interesting that they come out with this list. I think Kennedy Urlacher is going to be a big part next year to see how much they acclimate him into the defense. He was a hell of a special teams player, but with him, Leonard Moore, and then you have Blair coming in. I think that it's going to be interested to see how it all meshes together with a new team.
I feel like those 7 kids that played all last year, I think Marcus is going to really look heavily toward them, for the rest of the sophomores that are coming, sophomores now coming into next season to really push those other kids in that recruiting class. Like, hey, this is what it takes to play at Notre Dame and to be competitive, like how they were last year. I think also some of the upperclassmen may look towards them too, as far as how well they perform this year.
This is a little off topic, but it's topical with the way things are changing in college football. Joseph here, do you guys think the USC rivalry game is going to go away after the 25 season? It depends on what the conferences do, because the way it's shaping out now, it sounds like it's just going to be a Big Ten SEC invitational, and the auto bid thing is going to get, I think it's going to get wonky, because at a certain point you're going to end up with 8-4 Iowa in the college football playoff. I think that's what you're.
I'm not a big fan of that. I think they kind of need to do scheduling, like schedule each different team from a conference. Ohio State playing Texas week 1, week 2 they play UNC, week 3 they play Uh, Boise State, just like 26, just for shits and numbers or whatever. Play instead of playing these MAC schools and shit. Get them on a rotation. Get them on a rotation where they fall in place with how they fall during the regular season as far as their seeding. The fourth team from the ACC plays the fourth team from the Big Ten, something like that.
Yeah, I think Dave's got it here. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to have crossover games, and the SEC, from what I made it sound like, from what I heard from Chase and Neil this morning, it's going to be you're going to have each SEC school playing one Big Ten team, and they're going to go to 9 conference games because ESPN's going to pay them approximately around $8 million. Each school is going to get $8 million for one more conference game.
Duke, and I think too is I don't think you're going to really see any undefeated teams anymore. It's going to be harder and harder to go undefeated.
Yeah, I think one thing that Michigan's going to have possibly is the last undefeated college football champion.
Mm-hmm.
That's just down to it in brass tacks. But yeah, the seven guys that are mentioned on this list, I still think Lambert holds one of the biggest cards in this. I mean, because I think that Notre Dame's going to – I don't think the offensive style is going to change. I think Denbrock is going to cater the offense to what the skill set of the quarterback can do, like he did for Jaden Daniels, like he did for Riley Leonard, even though me and Carter were highly critical of it about pushing the ball down the field. And, they never really needed to do that until they needed to do that. I think it hurt them in the national championship, to be honest. They couldn't stretch the field. It was, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and it was easy for Jim Knowles and Ohio State to shut that down for the most part. So I think that's pretty much that's another element that they can add. And, they're losing some pieces on defense, but I don't know how active Notre Dame's going to be in the second transfer portal window. I'll be curious to see that, to be honest, to see what they pick up and what they don't.
Yeah.
And
I'm curious to see what kind of talent is in that second portal window.
Yeah.
Just in general, like who's going to leave Ohio State, who's going to leave Alabama, who's going to leave X, Y, and Z. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think the spring transfer window is going to be a very interesting endeavor to see who's moving and who's staying and who's going.
Right. Yeah.
Penn State guy, it's all. I can't say I don't disagree with that. That's why I think they're going to push it to 16 teams. Because if you push it to 16 teams, you'll have
two top 2 seeds get buys.
Is that how that format would work in 16?
I think so. I think the first 2 get buys.
Or is that 14?
Shit. No, I forget.
I think 16. Everybody's got to play a game, but I think
maybe it is the 14 seed that the first 2 get a bye, and the 16 everybody plays everybody, which they should.
Because I think you'll get 4 Big Ten teams. I think you'll get 4 SEC teams.
You're at 8 right there.
You get 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12.
12. Then you get 1 from the Pac, and you get Notre Dame.
No, I don't think they'll. No buys with 16, or no buys with 16, buys with 14. Yeah, Dave's here's got it. That'll be 4 for the Big Ten, 4 for the SEC, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12, 1 for the Group of 5, and one at large. Because the Dillinger article today referenced Notre Dame would get an at large. So the Group of 5 would get 1 spot, and then the rest would be at larges. So I think
personally, I think you just get rid of the conference championship games.
Yeah,
you make those your part of your playoff games.
I think that I could see that being something that they could do would be and I think the caveat with Notre Dame is that they would have to be ranked inside of the top 16 or 14 to get a spot. And I don't like the auto bids. I'm the first one to tell you I don't think the Group of 5 should have had the auto bid. I don't think there should be auto bids. I think the top teams should get in. That's it.
Yeah, I think you just go 1 through 16, call it a day. None of this. Well, so and so. No, you put top 16 in. Top 16, top 14.
Well, but also I think they should get rid of the committee too. I'm not in on the committee either.
And like somebody else said, like strength of schedule too. You gotta go off that schedule.
Well, because the strength of schedule, like I've argued
that could be like a third determining factor. Uh-oh. Where'd he go?
I'm back. The strength of schedule thing, to me, I've argued against it and with it. Joe wants to know who would rank the teams. I would say they'll probably either use the coaches poll or the AP. I don't know, but using the committee or analytics, I don't know. But I just don't I get it, but they don't have people in the room, Joe, that know anything about football. That's
or don't watch. Yeah, and they don't watch all the games like somebody else would.
So now the season extends to 17, 18 games. Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Essentially an NFL schedule.
Because these schools, and I think you're less than apt to have schools go on the road because Ohio State has already done it. They got a home and home with Georgia. They have a home and home with Alabama. They got a home and home with Texas. So there's your crossover. That's the one schools that have the crossover games. And it's just that. That's the new landscape.
It's going to get messy.
That's the new landscape of college football, and I don't know what they do with the Big 12 and the ACC. Do they try to merge it?
Well, how many teams would that give you? 24 teams?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, she was.
So I think that the one thing that I think will happen is that I think the SEC in the Big Ten will pick the teams that they want out of the Big 12, and the ACC and the rest are going to merge with the American, I would assume. And yeah. I don't know why they haven't elevated Montana State, and North Dakota, and
South Dakota State,
and put them in the Mountain West, because they literally are in the mountains.
Yeah, geographically that would make sense, Duke.
And since they took Fresno State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and put them in the Pac-6, but they still got issues. So I don't know. It's going to get messy because I don't think realignment's done yet, Rich.
I don't think it's done either.
So that is where we're at for
I think
Tuesday.
one last thing, I do think Pittsburgh and Cincinnati make the jump to the Big Ten.
I don't think the Big Ten wants Cincinnati. I think they would take Pitt.
Maybe West Virginia. Move West Virginia from the Big 12.
I would see West Virginia ending up in the ACC more than anything.
Yeah.
But I think the Big 12 it's pretty solid with where the teams are at. But what killed the Big 12 was when Oklahoma and Texas left.
Yeah, those were the two that power that conference.
So, yeah, that's where we're at on this fine Tuesday, and I don't have anything else. You got anything else, Rich?
I got nothing else, dude.
So, with that being said, everybody out there watching on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. That is what we're trying to do here. So, with that being said, everybody have a good night and pound that like button. Tell us where you're watching from. It helps us in the algorithm with the comments. So, with that being said, everybody have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.